So let's talk about childcare in America. First, let's start with the schedule. So when you're looking for daycare, you call the daycare. Of course, if they have available spaces, you can talk to them about the schedule that you want. When it comes to, like, for example, a week, you can do 5 days a week. You can do twice a week, which is part-time, or you can do once a week or drop in just when needed. When you need daycare services, you can just do that time. It's called drop-in daycare. So at the daycares, they do, when you go for the meeting, they'll let you know if you're going to bring diapers when you're dropping off your kid, and how many you need to bring, or if you don't need to. Most of them you don't need to take any diapers. When it comes to food, most of them you don't need to take any food. Milk, they may require you to take milk for the kids who are below, the babies who are below 1 year old. They may require you to take milk. So the formula, or if it's breast milk, they may require you to take the milk. So these are things you talk about when you go for the meeting. When you go to meet, or when you're on the phone and you're talking about admission and all that stuff. So when it comes to pickup time, you can pick your kid up whenever you want. You do need to avoid like picking them up during nap time when they're sleeping. If their nap time is 2 to 4, you do want to avoid picking them up at 3 because they're probably napping. You also want to avoid picking them up when they're eating, like lunchtime. So you need to kind of get the schedule of the daycare, like what time do they eat snacks, what time do they eat lunch. So you don't want to pick them going when everybody's eating. You're going there to pick up your kid, so you don't want to interrupt that. You want them to be able to eat and finish, and then you pick them up, or before. So but these are things that you talk to the daycare about when you are there. So when it comes to babies who are below 1 year old, or even 2 years old, a lot of the daycares, they do have cameras, and they do give you access to cameras, and they also do update you. They send you text messages and pictures, but there's some of them, they're a bit more expensive, but they do have cameras that is directly on top of the crib of the baby. When you have a baby or a toddler, most of the daycares will assign a bed, and it's going to be specifically for your toddler or your baby. So because of that, they do like you to commit like a whole month, or more than a week, because they're going to assign the bed to your baby. So they're going to clean the bed, everything, and it's going to be assigned to your baby. It's going to have a name, and so they would like you to sort of commit like longer than at least a month. That's the other. And then the other thing is, if you're taking your kid to kindergarten and you have help at home, for example, your family helping you, but you're not sure if your kid is going to be able to adjust to the routine of the kindergarten. Some people, what they do is, like 3 months prior to kindergarten, they take their kid to daycare, so the kid can adjust to the routine, and when they go to daycare, it's a smooth transition. And they do it sometimes every day of the week. Sometimes you can do two times a week part-time until they get to kindergarten. That way they're able to get into the routine. That's what I've seen some people do. But if your kid goes to daycare, the kindergarten routine is very easy for them to adjust to, because they're going to be in a routine, because they have a routine in daycare. Security, daycares do not open the door for just anyone. So, and they don't hand over your kid to just anyone. So you do have to tell them exactly, give them the name, the telephone number, and the details of the alternative person who can pick up your kids in case of emergency, like an emergency contact, for example, or just regular pickup. So a lot of dads do drop off their kids and pick them up from daycare. A lot of dads, you'll find them picking their kids up and dropping them also in the morning. So that's another thing. So parents, dads are involved. So there are very many dads who are involved. I don't know whether they're involved at home, but I know they do come and pick up the kids, and they do bring them to daycare. All the daycares, that are comfortable with the daycare, you can change the daycare. Even with a nanny, you can change the nanny. And even with a nanny, you do need a schedule. You do need a schedule for your kid, like what your kid is doing in the morning, lunchtime, what time is lunchtime, what time is dinner, what time are they eating, what time are they sleeping. And so it's good to have that. It's good to have sort of like a schedule for the kid, because when you go to daycare, they do ask you, what's your kid's schedule at home? They do regularly, and you're like, they eat and play, they don't do anything else. So, and that's another thing, that's what kids do in daycare. They normally play. They play, eat, play, sing ABCs. They also do teach them how to write, to read and write. So, and they play all these games. So they play a lot of games. They do watch TV. So this is in America. They do have, the daycares do have TVs. Everywhere in America there's a TV. Just FYI, like almost everywhere. So even in daycares they do have TVs. In schools they do have TVs. In college the TV is there. So that's another thing. They're gonna have majority of the daycares, not majority, all of them have TVs. Now whether they turn them on or not, you know, it depends on what they're doing. But they do have TVs, and they do the ABCs and play, and they play outside also. They do have a backyard where they go to play. Normally it's in the back. So when you do a tour, they'll show you where the kids go to play. So they do play outside also.